there! I want to do a real quick video and show you how you can sew a flat back button onto any particular object and have a shank at the back. And the reason you want a shank, which is a little extra area, is so that you have room to tuck something behind the button. In this situation, nurses are wearing, putting their masks on, and they do not want to tuck them behind their ears. So they're sewing buttons onto their headbands and they're putting their face masks onto the buttons. But unless you give room for that elastic or those ribbons and ties, they will not tuck behind neatly. So let me show you real quick on how to sew a flat back button on with a thread shank. Okay, I have a scrap of fabric here and I have two buttons. One has 4 holes, one has 2 holes. Both of them are completely flat in the back. As you can see, this is not rocket science here. We have a needle with a rather large eye for the thread and some polyester thread. Any kind of thread will work. You're going to get some really long, one really long piece of thread. I'm going to say a couple of arm lengths. And you're going to cut it, and then you're going to put both raw ends together like you have here. And then you're going to take that. I put it in my mouth and lick it, and then I pull it flat with my fingers, and I put it in that hole. And if it splits like that, you do it again. Get a little spit on it, pull it flat, put it in the hole. You're going to grab those 2 raw ends, and you're going to grab the end with the loop on it, and you're going to make them even, like I have right here. I've got the 2 raw ends and the end with the loop. I'm rolling it around my fingers, just kind of rolling it to make a knot. You can make a knot any way. This is how I make a knot. Pull it tight and cut off those extra ends. You don't need those extra ends. Position the button where you want it. And as you can see, you have 4 strands of thread. And the reason you do 4 is you have less sewing to do. So position the button where you want it. And when you do a 4-hole button, you do your sewing on a diagonal from hole to hole. That gives you a much better hold. So you're going to put it from back to front through the button, and then back down through that hole. Don't give it a big tug, just very lightly pull it. And then you're going to go up on the other one, and now you have an X. Now you're going to take that button and you're going to loosen that up so you have space in between. That is how you're going to create your shank. Typically you sew your button on tight and flat, but when you want to put something behind it, like a suit coat or a jacket, you're doing the exact same thing. The first hole, second hole, back to front. And if it gets a little knotted like it does here, do you see that? Can you see that? You just kind of pull it out with your needle. All right, now you're going to loosen this up, and you're going to have some thread. And you're going to wrap this, you're going to take it from the back to in between the button and the fabric, and you're going to wrap this thread around. In this situation, we're going to do 8 to 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 6. I'm looking at that going, there's my shank, but I need to get elastic back there, so I thought I better do it a couple of more times to make it a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to go through the thread. I'm making a loop. I'm going under the bridge, pulling tight. Through the thread, it makes the loop. Go under the bridge, pull it tight. One more time. Through the thread, under the bridge, pull it tight. The reason I have that purple tape there is to show me where the camera is, because I can never find it. Now we're going to do the other button, the 2-hole button. I'm going to wrap it around my finger, kind of roll it, but you can get your knot any way you want to get your knot. That's totally up to you. So we're going to flatten that out. Straighten that out. Now we're going to do the 2-hole button. Use the exact same, only less holes. Figure out where you want your button to be. Go from the back to the front and then through the hole of the button. And then you're going to make sure it's nice and even and flat. And then you're going to go front to back. And then you're going to go back to front. And you're going to go front to back. Exact same thing as we did before. And then we're going to loosen it up and get ourselves a gap. And we're going to wrap this thread around. We're going to go from the back and put it between the thread and the needle, the fabric and the button. And you're going to wrap this around 8 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. Did 10 times. And then we're going to tie it off again. Let's do it again. There's your shank. It's not flat against the fabric. You have room for your elastic. Through the fabric, make the loop. Make sure it's nice and even. And under the bridge, pull it tight. Through the fabric, make the loop. Under the bridge, pull it tight. Through the fabric, under the bridge, pull it tight. And that is all there is to it, to sewing, hand sewing on a button. It gives you a shank. It gives you space in between so that your elastic can fit back there. Enjoy! Stopping by. I appreciate it so much.